Hello, everybody.
Hi.
So, today we're going to talk about discrimination and how that can affect people in life. And we'll start off with saying, how many of you have been looked down upon in your life? Have you been discriminated against for something? Have you been judged negatively for something in your life? It seems as though it's universal, that everyone has been through this kind of strife. Whether it is because of gender, race, ethnicity, religion, hairstyle, clothing, anything like that, personality. Well, everyone knows that it's not a fun experience, and no one wants to be on the receiving end of prejudice and discrimination. But there is one type of discrimination that has boomed in the last 10 years because of rising popularity, and that is tattoo discrimination. Body art has become increasingly popular and widespread in the United States. And according to Huffington Post, about 23% of Americans have a tattoo, and 32% of people ages 35 to 45 have at least one tattoo. Yet, visible tattoos still remain a stigma. Employers that have been surveyed say that tattoos make a person look dirty and would make them not want to hire that person. But why? What is it about tattoos that some people loathe so much this day and age? Apparently, this distaste doesn't necessarily stem from the employers themselves, but from fear of how much the customers might react. Keyword, might react. It's funny how employers are so scared of negative customer reactions of tattoos, yet about a quarter of the population in America, or even more, and I'm sure more than that because not everybody in America has been surveyed, but people with tattoos don't care about other people having tattoos. And personally, I have met many people without tattoos that find them beautiful, interesting, and neat to look at, despite not having any themselves. I've heard what some people say about tattoos, and they say they look trashy, or that they're a status symbol for the low IQ, or that tattoos demonstrate a person's lack of self-confidence. Those who don't have tattoos, can you imagine someone saying that about you just because you look different than them or have some kind of difference? Or think differently than them? Since when does the way a person decorate their body dictate their intelligence or ability to function in society? It doesn't, that's why. And right now I'm going to pass around a couple slides showing how people can discriminate so easily against people with tattoos and how there's so many professionals in the workplace right now that have tattoos and you wouldn't even notice it because they're wearing their signature uniforms. But I'll pass these around. I'll split it up a little bit. And you can just pass those around to everybody while I'm finishing here. But you can see in some of those slides, there's certain professionals like veterinarians, police officers, scientists, doctors, lawyers, all kinds of different people. And it doesn't really affect the way they do their jobs. It doesn't affect how competent they are or how their skills affect their workplace. This is why discrimination needs to stop against tattoos. Because tattoos are a form of art and a way of expression. It is completely understandable to look down on someone with like a swastika tattooed to their face, or anywhere for that matter, or tattoos depicting graphic or offensive, inappropriate scenes or subjects. It is then that it's understandable why employers would not want to have those kind of people as their employees. However, but for the rest of us, 50 million Americans with tattoos, the art on our arms should not be an immediate excuse not to be hired, or taken seriously, or to be downright hated. Employers should hire employees based on their competence and skills, and not be judged solely by their looks. Once upon a time, only those who served in the military had them, years back, sailors and soldiers. Then, as time passed, civilians with questionable reputations got them, like prisoners, gang members, and people like that. So that's probably where everybody kind of got that idea of people with tattoos being, bad people. But today, nearly everyone under the age of 50 seems to have them. It's almost a rite of passage for some American youths now when they turn 18 too, because that's when you can actually get tattoos without parental permission. But tattoos are not what they used to be 50 years ago. They have become more sophisticated, more meaningful, and revered by millions. Because of this, even many people from older generations are beginning to accept tattoos as part of our culture, and even get some themselves later in life. Of course, there will still be those unsavory characters that brand their tattoos in prisons and the bad streets and show them as symbols of murder and hate. But people seriously need to stop looking down on the good, law-abiding tattooed citizens. People need to stop stereotyping the tattooed people of the world as low-class criminals just because of the art on their skin. Why waste time hating on the choices that people make with their own bodies when the time could be spent opening minds and being tolerant and accepting of their fellow neighbors? The point isn't that everyone should go out and get tattoos. The point isn't that people should stop getting tattoos. People should be able to freely express themselves as long as nobody is getting hurt or offended. What's really so wrong with someone displaying the permanent badge of honor or a memorable, precious moment or just cherished art or some visual concept or ideas? If you're one of those who doesn't like tattoos, ask yourself when you see someone with a tattoo. There usually is a good story behind each one of them, a story that is individual and special, just like the person that has the tattoo. But anyway, that just shows you, especially with the slides that I passed around, that you shouldn't judge people by their looks, especially if they're competent and skilled people in society. Does anybody have any questions? No?
No.
Good. Well, thank you very much for attending my speech.
Thank you.